We were sitting around the other day and actually discussing what we love about the life insurance industry. And it sounds kind of like funny to it's funny to say, like, here's what I love about the life insurance industry. But it was actually a fun conversation, and we figured we'd just share it with you guys today.
We have been in the life insurance industry for 20 plus years. I don't want to date us too much, but we've had quite the ride. We've definitely experienced failure and had struggle. We've had insurance license and not made the kind of money we've wanted to make. And we've also had the great experience of earning a great living, building a business that now flourishes and thrives, even if we have to step away for a short period of time. And we've been able to build a life in the insurance industry. And that really right there is like one of the things I think that is just so unique about what it is that we do, because you can go, we've talked about this in some earlier podcasts, you can go from self-employed to business owner in this industry, which in itself already is something I love about the life insurance industry. It makes it unique and different.
Yeah. So as we're talking about it, we made a kind of a list of things that we love about the life insurance industry. And part of our story, if you're not familiar with this, I got in the insurance business because I was broke. I mean, I'd love to say I had some sort of big altruistic heart and I wanted to just help people. I wanted to pay rent, and I was tired of I felt like my wife was looking at me like I wasn't contributing to the marriage financially, which would have been a true look, but I don't think she did. I just assumed she did. So what I loved about the life insurance industry and getting started is you needed no experience whatsoever to get started. People say to me all the time, I don't have any sales experience. I don't know any life insurance. I go, who cares? That's perfect. Can you make a friend, and can you figure out how to help them? Like, that's great. I mean, I was given a phone script that had been photocopied so many times it was diagonal. And whoever originally wrote it in italics, thinking that was a pretty font. Nobody told me how to do the phone script. They just said, read this on the phone. And so I did. But I know italics are for emphasis. So I was literally yelling at people on the phone, hey, Bob, this is Fitz. And you hear this voice go, are you yelling at me? Like, man, I'm so sorry. They handed me the script, told me to read it. It's in italics. I don't know why, but I'm getting to regular font later. It was no experience necessary. I loved that. My first commission check was $1,800, and I was yelling at people on the phone to book appointments and then getting in the home and reading a product brochure. You literally have to know zero in order to start making money in this business very quickly.
Well, and I don't even guess it's on the list, but the other thing that makes me think about is because I had come from a background where I was doing cold calling, so I would have to go from door to door with businesses in order to sell the industry that I was in. And that's one of the things I love about the life insurance industry is there are leads. Like you were just talking about how your leads were crooked, but you had leads.
Phone script was crooked.
Phone script with sorry,
Not
you're
the leads.
right.
The leads
Some
were
of the
crooked.
leads came in crooked too.
Well,
that was what I flashed back to.
The leads I've been doing door-to-door sales. So the leads I initially had were these little cards that I don't know that the people really knew what they were filling out, and they didn't put their name on there. They just put their initials, and I had to call them and figure out their name on the phone, like, hey, Mr. LG, my name is Fitz. Sorry. Hey, Mr. LG, my name is Fitz. It was terrible, but no leads. We had leads. They weren't great leads getting started. Now leads are way better 20 years later than they were back then. But with that, it's the good thing is leads. You like that because you were doing door to door in the corporate world, and I had been doing door to door, just hustling, trying to make a buck. But I also liked on the flip side of that we had leads. There were leads in the industry, and I didn't have to go hit up my friends and family to try to make a sale. I had started becoming that guy where when I would show up to a family party, everybody sort of moved to another side of the room because they just knew I was trying to sell them something. And it was nice to get started in this without trying to sell them something. Did I end up selling my friends and family? Yes. Did I sell all of them? No. Did I ask all of them if they had life insurance? Yes, because if my friends die, I want to know they have life insurance. I just want to know they're going to be provided for. Do they need to buy from me? No, buy from somebody. Please already have it. But you don't have to hit up your friends and family, but you can, and you should. But you don't have to in order to get started and get rolling making money.
That's right. Another thing that was really good for us in the life insurance industry is that we didn't have to have money in order to make money. Or at least it was a very minor investment. Nowadays when you have more money and you think bigger about, well, how can I take money to make money? So you could go buy a fast food restaurant and you could make money on doing that. Or you could go buy rental homes and you could make money doing that. And you can buy boats and rent them out. I mean, there's things that you can do that you can own a business and even make a passive income. But most of those things out there these days require you to have money already in order to make more money. In the insurance industry, it's like maybe $200. Is it even still $200? I'm so out of the loop. About $200 to get your insurance license.
Depends on the state. There are states like California, maybe it's about $450, but everything's more expensive in California.
But that is a very small investment when you think about, because now you have a trade. Like once you get your insurance license, now you have a skill, a trade. Well, I mean, if you wanted to go cut hair, you would have to go to cosmetology school. If you wanted to become a welder, you'd have to go to a trade school. So those are all trades, those are skills, but they're going to cost you way more than somewhere between $200 to $450. So the investment is so minor, and if you want to buy leads, if you choose to buy leads, again, minor investments in order to get a return in the life insurance industry.
And mentioning about that investment, when I first got started, I was telling somebody about this morning. When I first got started, I was excited I didn't have to have a stock or an inventory of something. I'd been trying to sell cookware door to door and vitamins and cleaning supplies and concrete cleaner. I tried to sell everything, and I had a garage lined with product that I had bought and was trying to turn around and sell. I bought it on credit card. I was trying to turn around and sell it just to make a little bit of profit after paying off the credit card. It was not working well. I got excited that I didn't have to. The applications are free. Back in those days, like paper, I can have as many as I want. We were just ordering stuff from the insurance companies, like marketing brochures and all that stuff. Like, send us all you got. And we just thought they were crazy not charging us for it. And we wanted to get all that stuff before they started charging us for it. Then we ordered so much, and they were like, okay, you can only get this much at a time. But I loved it that didn't have to have a huge investment in the stock or inventory in order to get rolling. I also liked, and I was sharing with an agent this morning that, when I first got started, my story is we were broke and I needed to make money, and very quickly started making money. And I've heard it said, when the business gets from your head to your heart, that's when you really start having an impact in the industry. And I remember about 6 months after moving from North Carolina to Dallas, I had a client call that I didn't sell. And back in North Carolina, and she said, Mr. Fitzgerald. Now at the time I was 23. Anybody calls you Mr. Fitzgerald when you're 23, it's a bad situation. I said yes. And she identified who she was. She said, did we take care of that life insurance when you were here that night? I said, no, ma'am. You said you wanted to think about it, and then I followed up a few times. But then I moved to Texas. I handed you off to another agent who also followed up. It never got taken care of. What happened? Because that's the only reason she's calling. She said, well, my husband died in a car wreck. They were in their mid-40s, young kids. And I said, no, you didn't take care of it. What are you going to do now? And she said that they were going to lose everything, and they were going to have to move back in with her parents, who were at that time in their 70s. And, I literally got sick to my stomach. I got off the phone, and I threw up. And I said, I'm never going to feel that again. I'm never going to have a client go through that again. I am not going to walk out of a house and not have helped that family. And then flip side of that, moved to Dallas. A few months after moving here, I had sold a policy to a family. He died in a car wreck on 635. You're familiar with Dallas. He was driving a Ford Explorer that rolled a few times. And he was the major breadwinner. The mom was a teacher's assistant, making like $14,000 a year as a teacher's assistant, and 3 kids. Again, 3 boys under the age of 10. No way they could survive, but I got to deliver the death check. I got to deliver that check. And while it was never going to bring him back, and everybody in that room realized that, at the same time, they always had a place to live. And it wasn't a lot of life insurance they bought, but we were able to pay off the mortgage. We were able to set aside a little emergency fund for her. We were able to start with the kids and saving for college planning. all that with just a small little policy.
Yeah.
And I realized then the impact. It was so weird. It's the best word. I'm short of words there. It was so weird being back in that house where before the boys were rambunctious and lollipops were being put in my pants. Being back in that house where one of the members of the family was missing, in this case the dad, the husband, missing, and the 3 boys were sitting on the couch just quiet, not playing any gaming system, nothing like that. They were just quiet, and I thought, this is horrible. Dad's never coming home again.
Mm-hmm.
He's never going to play with those boys. And I just remember then, like, crying with her. As soon as I saw her at the door, she was crying, and I just started crying. I'm crying now talking about it. Like, that's when it went from here to here. And you know that we're not just out there providing for our families. We're providing security for other families. And that's how we get to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
Well, I think most people have a story about the way that their lives were impacted by the insurance industry. Either you know someone who benefited from a life insurance check, or you probably know someone who didn't have life insurance and saw the adverse effects. I think that most of us have lived, to see those scenarios. I mean, this is personal for you too, because of your personal story of losing your dad at 17.
Yeah.
And there not being life insurance for you guys and the kids, and you were headed off to college, and the impact that had on your life, which makes you that much more empathetic with these families, and seeing those boys because of your own personal experiences. But it's one of those things that we are proud about the life insurance industry, because we do something that's meaningful in the lives of our clients. And, most of us, and we should all live life like that's not going to be us. I don't want to live life constantly thinking tomorrow might be the end. But at the same time, we all sleep a little better in those, in the night. We all sleep a little better in those worrisome moments when we know if worst case scenario happened, there would be some type of protection or coverage.
Yeah.
So we are definitely proud of the insurance industry. For the impact that it makes on the lives of clients. The other thing that we're super proud about is the impact that it can make on agents.
Oof.
And I say can because I think the life insurance industry gets a bad rap. Like people are like, oh, life insurance agents, that's not, it's not like an honorable, we don't really honor it in our society. Some of that is because there's a lot of life insurance agents, and most of them are kind of poking at this industry. They're really not making an impact in the industry. They're really not doing it because they care so much about the clients that they're covering. And so they don't represent this industry. I think the overall, you would know this, the average income that's earned in our industry isn't very high.
I think it's $25,000 a year or something.
But that's because it that incorporates all the people that aren't even really trying. They just have an insurance license. But what we have seen in this industry is, I know a lot of people who have made millions of dollars, and personally, I have them in my cell phone. Like I can call them and know people that have made millions of dollars in this life insurance industry. We've personally had a few that have made millions in a year. We are really fortunate to see hundreds to probably thousands of people make hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year in this industry. It isn't hard if you choose to work at it just like you would work at anything else to make money and to make really good money in this industry. And I would go as far to say that this is like the top income earning sales job out there.
Probably.
Especially considering all the things we've already talked about, the amount that it takes in order to become how to become an insurance agent is so small. The investment is small. But compared to car sales or compared to, people who are out there doing little side hustles like Uber or anything out there to make a little extra income, this is an industry that has a unlimited amount of funds that can be made. It's also been around for forever, like since the dinosaurs walked the earth.
or 3 or 4 centuries, depending on when your whole dinosaur dating is.
It depends on your theories.
And you know, I think that in addition to that, it being a top sales income earning job, did I say that all right? What I personally have loved about this is I always wanted to own my own business, and I just never had that idea, that trinket, that widget, that, you know, I didn't invent Facebook, you know, I didn't come up with these different websites, but I loved that I could turn this into a business. I could make good money on the sales side, and if I so chose, I could turn it into a business and make money while I'm on vacation, make money while I'm off and enjoying life, you know, and taking time with my family. I could still be making money. And I loved that concept. I loved that idea, that it gave me that freedom, that business. And as a business owner in the insurance business, I've learned so much about business ownership. And I feel like it makes me, I feel like it makes me a better friend to my friends who are business owners, because I've got that insight and I can share with them my experience as well.
Well, for those of you listening to us today, if you're already in the insurance industry, I hope we've kind of given you a fresh love to remember what it is that you're a part of. And for those of you that are not part of the life insurance industry but would love to learn more about what we do, what can they do?
They can go to thefitzgroupjobs.com, thefitzgroupjobs.com. When you go there, you can just schedule an appointment to talk to me or another person here in the office, and just get your questions answered. You know, when you schedule that time, you'll be sent a video that it's about 8 minutes of highlighting what our company does, just to give you a reminder. But then, you know, from there, we'll have a 30-minute conversation. I see the 30-minute conversation as a first date. Nobody gets married on the first date. You're just checking each other out to see if there's interest in a second date. It's no commitment. It's just a conversation, and we can get your questions answered, or not. Maybe your questions aren't answerable, and it's just not a fit. But that's okay too. Either way, right?
Yep.
Hey, now that you know,
you know.